Probably
Welcome
check your
everybody to
speakers.
the portion. It's Friday again. It's the portion. I don't know about you, but Shabbat Shalom. I am ready for sundown. It has. I keep asking every day, is it Shabbat yet? Is it Shabbat yet? My husband says, one day closer, one day closer. So
One more wake up.
I just need it to be Shabbat. Anybody else feel that way?
Yes.
So tell us where you're listening from. If you're on the replay, we are live over in Facebook. If we will come back and answer questions, everyone, I'll try to sneak over on my phone to see what y'all are doing while someone's chatting in here. If you are on there, please, you can jump up to the announcements. In there is the link to get in here. The password is Isha. You can jump over here and join us because after we're done today, we always hang out for a little while and have an after party. Mics all come open. I was going to say, Lord help me today.
Oh, geez.
Mike, don't say it. Brenda said, just don't say it. I'll just say it. We just relax, let our hair down. That's what I'll say. We'll let our hair down. We all just get to say, we get to talk and chat and get to know each other. I always think about it. It's kind of like when you were at church and you left and everyone mingled after church and you hung around and talked. So, Brenda, anybody, let's see, I'm going to let some people in.
I got it.
So please jump on over. It's not too late to come in. We will admit you all through the thing. Someone's watching, so someone will let you in. If you're in the waiting room for a minute, don't give up. Give us a minute. We'll let you in if we've started already. But we just want to tell you good morning. Brenda, good morning.
Good morning, my friend. How are you today? Oh,
I don't hear you at all.
You cannot hear me? Can anyone else hear me? No? Okay.
No hearing Brenda. So we'll keep talking.
Okay.
Today we get to go into some fun stuff. This is one of those portions where I'm kind of like, what the heck? Where are we going to even start with this? Vayera, Exodus 6:2 through 9:35. And I'm going to just do an overview really quick. I'm going to grab, one of the things I've enjoyed, I have a standing desk now, y'all. So I get to stand and this is so much better for me because I'm sitting on my hiney too much. So that's not sustainable. So let's see if we unmute you, Miss Brenda. You're muted now. So maybe, woohoo.
How's that? Is that any better?
Nothing. Don't hear you still. So we're going to go through, first of all, we have God speaking to Moses. We're going to talk about the name of the Lord because he's going to reveal himself a little bit differently to this group of people, right? He starts revealing when we go through Passover, when you sit down at your Passover Seder, you go through 4 cups. And this is a time when those 4 cups are actually introduced. So we get to talk about that, talk about maybe a little bit about what each one of those represent, because maybe you're going through it and you're new and you're kind of just going through I hate to say going through the motions, but you're going through it. I know this week in the cafe, if you go into your Parsha points in your library, Gail has ancient Near East perspectives and she goes through each one of these sections. So it's really great. Are you on, Brent? Nope, not on at all.
How about now?
Nope. When all else fails, restart the computer, right? Restart and check your
I'll be back.
Hair thing going on. So we're going to go through those 4 cups. We're going to talk about the burden. There's burdens going on in Egypt. What's happening? The deliverance of the bondage, the redemption. And then he says he's going to take them out, right? He's going to take them. Those are some of the little 4 cuppy. We're going to talk about hardening of the heart. What does that mean? What does that even look like? And then we're going to jump into some plagues. We have a few plagues to deal with this week, right? And I don't know about you, but I don't think it's a coincidence that this is happening this week, right? It seems like a lot of things are in alignment with what's happening in our world. And I think that it's just a reminder to us that we don't have to live in fear. We don't have to live in fear of what's happening around us. We don't have to, because we know the deliverer. I feel like I'm at church. Can I get an amen? I think I should sit down. Whoa, Allie, I might start preaching. I'm standing. I could start doing this. So I really feel like this is a time when we get to rise up and we get to remember who we are. And I think that that's kind of what's happening here. We're going to talk about just a few of those. We have the first, 7 we hit: blood, frogs, gnats, swarms, pestilence, boils, and hail. We're going to hit a few of those today as we wait for Brenda to still hopping in. We're going to chat through those. And then back to, again, we're going to talk about the hardness of Pharaoh's heart. So Father, we just thank you for this time. We consecrate this time for you. Father, I thank you right now that you are healing technical issues. that you have already put a wall of fire all about us, Father, and you are here right now in our midst. Father, I thank you that each one of us has chosen to live in the land of Goshen, so that we know that while we might be in the outskirts of Egypt, while some of us look a little Egyptian, while some of us might have taken on a little or a lot of Egyptian ways, you have still pulled us out, and we still live, and you have encamped around us, and we're still living in the land of Goshen. We still are separated. We're still set apart. We're still pulled away, Father, so that we, Father, can watch as you deliver us. Watch as you do these things, not by might, not by power, nothing we can do, but purely by your Spirit, Father. Father, I ask that you empty me out, you empty Brenda out, Father, that you put a watch on our tongues, Father, that nothing we say, Father, is nothing that's not from your throne room, and quickly correct us if we get in our own flesh. Father, I ask that you give these women a heart that they would be able to bring practical application to your word. Thank you, Father, for showing up. Thank you that your word is consecrated, and I just consecrate this time for you. Amen. Well, amen, amen. We have quite a few ladies this morning, guys. I'm going to say a quick hello to in our Zoom. Hey, guys, we have Julia and Allie and Kathy and Linda and Susan and Sydney and Tanya and Tiffany and Tina and Julia. Did I miss anybody? Trying to read all the names. Morning, good morning to all of you. What a beautiful day. You guys all look just gorgeous. And there's lots of chats going on already. Oh, everyone else can hear Brenda but me. Maybe it's me. Oh, geez. That's, you know what?
Lord help us all. How about this? Can y'all hear me better now? Shake your heads. Let me text my, y'all discuss, grab your Bibles, pull them open, get your notebooks really quick. Let me tell Brenda it was me. Not shocking, right? Brenda, it was me. Come back. They could hear you. Yay. Okay. So Brenda should be back any minute now. So I just want to start in with, I really want Brenda to talk about, she has a really great way of explaining the hardness of heart. But one of the things that last night we have our conference coming up. So this is the first time I've actually placed Facebook advertisements and put it out there so that other people could find us. Well, some people who see Facebook advertisement might not necessarily be our loving, guarded community. So they may say not so loving things. And so it was really interesting that several months ago, Yahweh was dealing with this mindset in me that what people said that they wasn't going to affect me, and that I had to just keep focused on him, and I couldn't look at what man was saying or what people were saying, but I had to stay focused on him. And so as he was dealing with that mindset with me, I mean, it was over and over and over. And I saw Joyce Myers one time say something like that, when God's dealing with something with you, sometimes if you notice it's happening all the time, it's because it's kind of like, when you hit yourself over and over and over and over, and then you don't feel it anymore after a while because you've hit it so many times it gets numb. That's kind of what happens if you notice. Our Holy Father just keeps bringing things back and back and back to us, because he's like, I love you too much to let you stay in this. I love you too much that I'm not going to let you go into the next level and take that with you. You can't climb these stairs and take that baggage. So we're going to deal with it, and we're going to move in. So as he's dealing with this mindset, for me, it was fun last night. And I was chatting with Brenda. It was fun last night to see the way that while I was reading these things that were coming up that people were saying, that it wasn't bothering me. Brenda,
yes,
welcome.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it was me. I had my settings were off.
Oh.
So yeah, and then there's
it's all good. It's all
good.
Good
Morning. Good morning. Let me take a drink. Say good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry I missed these first few minutes, Charlie. I really wanted to hear what you had to say, but blessings to everyone. Is this not the most amazing Torah portion? I mean, I just feel like, okay, this is the time when we all need to just be falling on our faces and like just fall on our faces. This is the most amazing Amazing time. Amazing time.
It's so amazing. And I was just telling them
Yeah.
about how when God is dealing with their mindsets about things, and I
Mhm.
think that kind of is pertinent. And I had not to mention, we won't even go into my crazy dream that I had, that I've shared with a couple of you about scorpions and spiders coming down and crabs and turtles. It was crazy. And it was, yeah. So what I realized though is, as I was seeing these things pop up and people were saying things that we were like wannabe Jews, and that, I mean, people are mean. Like, people were saying mean things, right? But it was funny because I looked at it and I was like, oh, bless their heart. Like, I went like Southern girl on them. I was like, oh, aren't they poor thing? They just don't know. Or, we all know this. We get the Jesus died so that we don't have to be under the law. We got those kind of comments that were pouring in, and then people, and I was like, Father, thank you for delivering me of that mindset. And I feel like this is a week that he wants to deliver you of some mindsets that have been holding you back so that you can't move on. Because you can be in bondage, and you can be in bondage. You can also be have that you've put on yourself, right, Brent?
Right. Because guess what? This is the week that we're coming out of Egypt.
Yes.
I mean, this is the week where the things of Egypt that reside within us are being pulled out, frog by frog, boil by boil, dust by dust. This is what's happening. And so, of course, Charlie, I mean, it's like you're right on schedule, right?
Right. Of course.
And all of the opinions and all of the thing, people, they're stirred up, and so they're spewing. And guess what we get to do? We get to sit in a place of shalom with the king, and we get to partner with him, and we get to say, it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. We're all coming out of Egypt this week. It's all right. We love you. We're coming out of Egypt. It's okay. It's not going to look pretty. You know what? It's going to
things are about to get ugly.
Yeah, and it's gonna increase. It's gonna escalate. It's all right. Yeah. Because we know who he is. The first thing that he did was he said, I am the Lord your God. I am Adonai. Yeah. Why? So that we know who he is, so we can figure out who we are. He's gonna show us who we are. He's gonna show us who we are. He's going to show us who we are, because
it was
he
really
wants
cool
us to know who he is.
He chose a new name, right? We think it's a brand new name, but if you do go back and look, he has actually referred to himself as Yahweh to Abraham and to Jacob. However, what he's telling Moses is, I was the God who gave the promises, and I gave but to you, I'm going to be the God who fulfills all of those things.
Guess what? He's showing us that he's worthy, a worthy bridegroom. He's saying, I want you to put your eyes up here. Look up here. Pay attention. I'm going to show you how mighty I am. I'm going to show you how great I am. I'm going to show you more than you've ever known before. You've known me as the creator. Guess what? You're going to get to know me as the one who loves you, the one who will go to any length to draw you and woo you and show you my strength and show you my majesty and show you my greatness. And that's what he's doing. He's wooing us. It's a courtship. It's not a chapter of good versus evil, guys. It's not a Torah portion of good versus evil.
No,
I'm sorry. It's not. I mean, seriously, like that done.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened.
No.
Wooing us, he's drawing us. He's saying, look how much I love you. I am going to help you recognize all the pieces of Egypt that are still in you. One by one, I'm going to address them. And one by one, I'm going to show you my might and my majesty. And I'm going to show you my goodness and my chesed, my mercy, my kindness. Because Charlie, he didn't just like take the water away from everybody and everybody was dehydrated and died. That's not what happened, right? So we think of it like that, but that's not really what happened, because then it tells us that they were digging for water right beside the river. So water was available.
Yeah.
But we look at it like, oh my gosh, they're all going to die of dehydration. No, but they're going to have to work for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pay attention.
Pay attention. We have been taught this, and I know you and I have sat in this for several years. This idea of, think about when you have in the courtship,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's a courtship that happens between a man and a woman. And what happens is in most cultures, now we don't really see it, we do, we do, you girls, you're standing around and then the guys are standing around and then you're like, they're like, who, like, I'm going to pick the girl that I want, and what they start doing is they call it peacocking, right?
I love that.
So what they start doing is they start showing off their muscles. Remember when they're kids, they start jumping they start jumping the ramps with their bike in front of you. And then, they're doing all these things to impress you because they're trying to say, I'm the strongest one. I'm the best one. And this is something that has happened back to, since the beginning of time, that men were like, you want to show that you're the strongest. And you can watch National Geographic and watch tribes still that are still doing these things in the jungles and in Africa and all over our world that are still doing these kinds. And are we still doing it?
Oh yeah.
I hear this right now. The club, you have the guys out there. I'm going to be the best dancer. Back in the day of the Saturday Night Fever showing that. Not that I watched that.
Yeah. I have a picture of my husband in 1983 on the beach, laying on the beach, showing me his big, huge muscles. And I have pictures of me in 1983 with my hair this big, this high.
Aquanet.
Total Aquanet. Yeah, that was totally peacocking. I never looked at it like that. I'm looking at the picture right now. My husband was so cute with his big, huge muscles. I should say little, they were big, huge muscles, showing me that he was the best and that I should choose him. Yeah. And I did. I'm so glad that he showed me those muscles because it was attractive.
Well, that's what's happening right now. He's wooing them because they didn't know him and what he's saying when he says that when he's saying that I'm Yod-Heh Vav-Heh, he's saying that I'm going to reveal to you that I'm actually going to appear to you now. Yeah. And I appeared. I was seen. I saw that somewhere else translated. I was seen. So what's happening is he's showing up right now this week in your life. And he's saying, you might have heard some things. You might have heard some promises. You might have read some things, but I want to show up now through this time, this season, because it's not just this week. This is a season as we go through the whole book of Shemot. This is a season as we go through Passover. This is a time in your life that he's saying, I'm going to show up. I want to be Yod-Heh Vav-Heh to you. I'm not just going to be I am going to be the one who actually comes in. I'm going to deliver. I'm going to bring you out. I'm going to do all these amazing things for you because I'm not just the one you read about.
Right. Right.
And not just the one your grandma told you about.
Right. And he's not just the one that the Egyptians can fake.
Yes.
Like they're trying to fake everything that he's doing, and they can to a point. They can fake some things, but there's some things that they cannot fake.
Can I just say, I'm gonna jump. What's new? I'm laughing because when he turns, when Moses and Aaron are standing there and they throw their staffs down, and it says they turn him into a snake. There's other rabbis or other interpretations that will say it turned into a crocodile. To be honest, I kind of feel like crocodile makes more sense when you look at what happened, but because it was a little more impressive. Also because it's like, well, their priests go, yeah, well, we can do that and throw their rod down. It turns into a snake, crocodile, whatever you want to call it, whatever it was, doesn't really matter. But what's really funny is that in my brain, this is me Fisher pricing this, guys. In my brain, I was like, oh yeah, well, can yours do this? And it goes home and eats theirs, right? It's like, well, that's okay, but can yours do this? And all I'm seeing right there, I'm seeing an antichrist. I'm seeing counterfeits. Excuse me, counterfeits in this world, counterfeits that have come around us that we may put something out, and maybe you're trying to talk to your family and you're like, but this is what Torah says, and they're like, Torah, bleh. We can. And what you get to do is rise up and say, but can you do this? And you're going to love the unlovely.
Oh, that's really good. I kept hearing this song, my dad's better than yours. My dad's better than yours. Sorry.
No.
Sorry. Was that a hot dog? Was that a hot dog song? I don't remember. But that's what I heard.
Seriously, this is all playground stuff. This is literally playground basics.
Yeah, you know, Charlie, that's one thing. I mean, you might have addressed this while I was trying to figure out my microphone situation. I apologize for that. But um, hey, this whole thing is not can we just draw a line and say, okay, this is the standard. This is where we're starting from. This is not about God trying to win out over evil. That is
That would
not
put them
what's
on the same
happening
level,
here.
Brenda. That would put
Yeah.
them on the same level. They're not
Yeah.
adversaries. God is not an
No.
adversary with evil. He is all
No.
things.
Yeah.
There isn't a
Yeah.
good versus evil. There's just
Mm-mm.
God.
Yeah, exactly. And the things that he allows to occur within that framework. And Pharaoh was not an equal to God. And he was not, God was not trying to figure out rats. That didn't work. Darn, now I'm going to have to send frogs. No, now I'm going to have to send lice. Oh, now I'm going to have to. That wasn't what was happening. But a lot of times in our storytelling, you know, in traditions of storytelling, uh, things have not been, you know, like if you read it in the word, you'll get it. He's saying, this is who I am. I am. And he said, I am appearing. I'm establishing my covenant. He's wooing us. Can you feel the wooing? I'm establishing my covenant. I have heard you. I have remembered you. Remember being, I have directed my attention and my energies laser focused to this moment in time. It's not that he's forgotten. It's that he's telling us, making us aware, I am laser focused right this moment upon this thing. That's you. And then he says, I am the Lord. I will bring you. I will redeem you. I will take you. I will be your God. I will bring you. I will give you. He's establishing who he is. He's not saying, I'm trying to figure out how to defeat Pharaoh. That's not what's happening. He doesn't have to defeat the enemy within us. What he's doing is speaking forth life to us and telling us who he is so that we move toward him. It's a movement, it's a dance, it's a reconciliation. We're trying to move toward him right now, and that's what we're doing. And I just want to I don't know, I just want to tell you all, it's okay. It's okay. These hard things, they're all going to bring us into his presence, all the hard things, because they're going to make us recognize what we don't want in our lives anymore. We're going to let go of the Egypt in us. We're going to let that go. He has enabled us to do that so that we can turn and look at him. And when he's speaking these beautiful words, we're being drawn to him. And I'm thinking of Song of Solomon, you know, how he's courting her and he's telling her how lovely she is and how beautiful it is, and she's like, oh, wait a minute, I've been out in the fields working, I'm probably, my skin's rough, and he's like, oh, you're so beautiful, come with me, come away, my beloved. That's what this is. And Charlie, the other thing, I know that we're jumping around here, but the other thing is, guys, this is John 10. This is Yeshua saying, my sheep hear my voice. So the Holy One is starting us off with his voice. We're hearing his voice. He's appearing to us, just like Yeshua did. And Yeshua's reenacting this in John 10. And he's saying, my sheep hear my voice and they're not listening to another. That's what this is all about. So that we recognize his voice, so that we're like, that's the voice that makes my heart pound, my DNA start shaking. I start trembling in the presence of this voice, not the presence of the Pharaoh voice that's going to beat us down and we're scared, but the voice that's saying, come to me, my beloved. So this is really a love story.
Oh.
Eh,
I think
sorry,
we go right into this. I had highlighted something years ago in my Bible, and I just wanted to share it with you. In as we start this parsha in verse 9, chapter 6, verse 9, Moses spoke this way to Bnei Yisrael, but they did not listen to him because their broken spirit and their cruel bondage. So Adonai said, go speak to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, so that they will let Bnei Israel go out of his land.
Mm-hmm.
People, he was trying
Yeah.
to speak to them all along.
Right.
It wasn't like he went, oh yeah, I forgot about those people. Forgot they were over there because I was busy, making sure that the planet kept spinning and didn't like go out of control, or, I forgot about them. It wasn't that. It says that that he spoke, but people couldn't listen. And the reason they couldn't listen was because of their broken spirit and the cruel bondage.
Right.
And I wrote in here that we can't hear a lot because when our spirit is broken and when we're in bondage. How many of you guys
Right.
know that right now this world is broken and in bondage? Their spirits are broken. That's
Yeah.
why people are acting crazy. That's
Right.
why people are acting hateful. It's
Right.
because their spirits are broken. And if we can see past the actions and look at a wounded spirit and a hole in a soul, person who's wounded, like when a dog gets hurt, it'll bite you. Because when
Right.
someone's reasonable, when someone is not hurting, when someone doesn't feel fearful because they're in bondage, they're not going to yell and scream. They're going to listen. There's going to be reason. There's going to be able to, but we're in this place, and what he's crying out is he wants to heal our land. That's when we're told that if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, right? And they cry out to heaven, then he's going to hear from heaven and he's going to heal our land. We have to be healed before we can be delivered. They couldn't hear because of the intense bondage.
Right.
What are you in bondage to that you're saying, I haven't heard? I'm starting to be more like my friend Deborah Flanagan now when I'm on the phone or when I'm chatting with you. So get ready. If you chat with me, one of the first questions I want to ask you is, what's he saying to you this week? Misty's laughing because she's gotten back into that. Well, what does he say?
Yeah.
What is he saying? Because what I'm realizing is that if we're coming back and saying, well, I don't know, I've asked and I can't hear, then why can't we hear? Then we have to then we say, okay, well, I'm a nurse, so let's triage. What's triage? What are you in bondage to? What do you need to be delivered from? What's happening that you do have uncircumcised? Because the word uncircumcised is not the opposite of circumcised, by the way. I did read that in Holisa this week. My brain is still processing. But I wrote down that, uncircumcision is not the opposite of the Hebrew for circumcised. It has its own word. Arel is its own word. It is not the opposite. And what it means is I'll run if y'all discuss something else, I can run, grab the book and read it if anyone cares, or take a picture. But it means being in bondage to something that something else is covering and cloud. I mean, we know the visual of what it looks like, what it means, but think about it. What is not circumcised? What is keeping you from hearing his voice? Because Brenda said it, my sheep hear my voice. Are you not hearing it? Brenda, that was ringing loud to me this morning. It was reading loud to me this morning. Yeah. That we're mad at people. I was like, well, why aren't they knowing this? And I go to irritated. Why isn't this happening? And he was like, they're sheep, Charlie, they're sheep.
Yeah.
It's the shepherd's jobs to bring them to the right food. And they haven't had the right food. You can't be mad at the sheep because they had the wrong food. So you have to just love them, because my sheep know my name. So just call it, just if I'm lifted up, I'm going to draw all sheep unto me. So keep lifting me up. Keep saying my name. Keep saying things so they hear my voice. Help them so that they can hear. Not try to stab them with, well, this verse says that he came to abolish the law. Well, let me come with my combat. Let me get in there and with my sword, and I'm going to show you guys what it really means. No, he's saying just love them. Just love them.
Yeah. And hear his voice so that they can follow and model you. Lead by example. Jump into the circle of joy. Walk in a place of shalom in the midst of all this crazy.
Yes.
So that people will look at you and say, wow, how are you doing this? Well, let me tell you how I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Or if you're feeling crazy, like Charlie said, if you're feeling crazy, get some time alone with him. Get some carpet FaceTime. Yeah. What are the things, which of these 10 things, these 10 strategic strikes that are to remove us from the land of Mitzrayim, not the physical land, but the land in here of Mitzrayim, which one of those things is addressing what's happening inside of you, that your ears are closed or that your eyes can't see? He said he's appearing because he wants us to see him. So what's keeping our vision from seeing him? So he goes through these 10 things, these 10 strategic strikes, to strategically address the issues that keep us away from him.
Yes, yes. I'm going to read a couple comments. Allie says that this Torah
Yes.
portion is all noted in my Bible, but the biggest thing that's written over it is spirit of division, and such a timely word. Erica says on here, they got so caught up in Egypt to begin their slavery. They went to Egypt for food to be saved, but never made a move to go back to the land promised to them. They got comfortable where they were, and then they came under bondage to that.
Ooh, they made friends, huh?
I got friends in low places. Yeah. So I know that there's a lot of things in my life that now, even still, that I have gotten used to, I've gotten comfortable with.
Yeah.
And it could be simple things that are in the pop culture, things cultural, things I watch on TV, things that I allow into my life, in my ears and my eyes, because I've allowed, remember, all these things are, I've become, when I walk out into the world, what do I look like? I was talking to Deborah, Brenda, I didn't even share this with, we were talking about just some things about even the way we dress. Now, don't y'all get crazy. I mean, I'm wearing yoga pants right now and a shirt. I put a necklace on so I look like I'm fancy. Okay. No, I have, I'm ready to whip this off and go for a walk after. But I'm saying, sometimes we get so caught up in the way everybody else is looking and dressing. I've done that, Brenda. I've gotten caught up in cultures, I mean, I've shared my testimony before. I was working with a bunch of people and going through a divorce, and I got all caught up in all of that. So then, I got to look like them. So I'm going to have tattoos, and now I'm going to wear some outfits more like them. And I'm going to make sure my body looks more like their bodies, to the point of surgical alterations for a lot of people. I'm going to look more like that. I think Misty, you and I were talking that people are so on Zoom right now, and they're seeing themselves and they're saying, oh, I don't like how this looks, and I don't like how this looks. So plastic surgery is, I mean, how many people are going in for plastic surgeries to get things changed and altered and adjusted, not because of a medical, if you've had, no judgment, we can talk later, no judgment about this, I promise. But I'm just saying, just know the reasons why. Is it because you're trying to fit in with the Egyptians? And he's saying he's pulling us out, right, Bren? I mean, gosh, I feel like we could stay here for so long. I love that he's going to appear to himself, and that he's actually going to say that. Also remember, anytime you see that word Yod He Vav He, if you see the word Lord in all caps in your English Bibles, I want you to see Yod He Vav He. I want you to see that. And he's saying that he is El Shaddai. I am the one who comes in and just takes care of everything.
Yeah. He is everything.
He is
one. He is everything. He is everything.
Yeah. I didn't just promise it. I'm going to actually deliver it now.
Yeah.
I made promises to your daddies, but now I'm going to deliver it. And ladies, whatever you've gotten yourself into, or whatever you've been born into, I just want you to know he's ready to heal you of that. He is ready and waiting to heal you of the bondage so that you can hear. He's ready to heal that you're broken. Your spirit's been broken because of the bondage. He's ready to heal it. He's ready. He's waiting for you to cry out. He's ready. And he's saying, this is the time. I'm right here. Before we go into some of these cups, Brenda, do you mind talking about because we were going to hear this a lot. We're going to hear a phrase repeated over and over, and I will harden, or the Pharaoh's heart was hardened.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk to us about what that means?
Well, I'm just remembering, I don't have any notes on this or anything, but I'm just remembering, and I hope that I'm remembering correctly, but I believe that what it's saying is that he is strengthening his heart. So he's not changing Pharaoh's heart. He's not changing Pharaoh's heart to refuse. He's strengthening what's already there. And so what's happened is Pharaoh's heart is refusing, and God is saying, okay, Well, there you go. This is, then I'm going to just go ahead and strengthen that's already there. And we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear, because you've talked about this before with me, and we were like, it doesn't mean that
He didn't change his heart or make him that
he
way.
didn't magically just harden his heart
Mm-mm.
and make him, because he was going to
Mm-mm.
he wanted to go through this stage of flexing his muscles for his new bride.
Mm-mm.
He didn't make the Pharaoh feel something that he didn't already have inside of him.
Right.
Right. What he did was he let him be who he was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He didn't soften his heart. He just allowed him to continue.
Right.
And
what's important there, Charlie, is that if he wanted to, he could have, but that's not what this is about. This is not about a dictator saying, you will feel this way, you will feel this, and you will. That's not what's happening. What's happening is he's strengthening what's already there. And he's saying, this is what's going to happen. This is going to be the outcome. Let me show you what's going to happen from this. Because he could, if he chose to, he could have, but that is not what's happening here. What is happening here is
he could have teleported them into the land,
course.
right? He could have just teleported the people into the land and say, oh, I heard you. I've got a bunch of other stuff to do. Yeah, I've got this whole like salmon spawning thing I have to make sure works out this year. So I'm just going to teleport you guys over here so I can get back to making sure that the tides are rising properly. So I'm going to just teleport you guys. I don't have time to mess with this. I wrote a note in my Bible about I will harden. The word also can mean that can cause your heart to beat really fast and hard in your chest. So
wow.
Selah.
Selah.
Look it up. Selah. 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 Whew, yeah. So so before we go into these fun things, we start jumping into, he says a few things. And again, I highly recommend, if you're in the cafe, go and look in your Parsha Point. Gail does an amazing job on this and breaks down each one of these, but that from an ancient Near East perspective, again, it's not going to hurt your head. If I'm reading it, y'all can read it.
Hey, can I just say real quick, let me just, I have a note here that, from Bill Bullock teaching on this. And I see a note here that I'd written, the word hardened is the same word for honor. In other words, he honored his heart.
Oh.
Yeah, he didn't take away his freedom of choice. He honored his heart. That was Pharaoh's heart, was to withhold and to be deceitful. And God honored that choice that he made. That's an interesting thought, huh?
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. That is so good.
Thanks, Bill.
Well, we are going to be talking all of a sudden. Now we're going into a betrothal.
Oh yeah.
We're starting a betrothal. So this is starting a whole betrothal. So we're seeing the groom, and I mean, who is Moses? He's the guy who is like the guy who organizes the marriage. What do you call that?
Friend of the bride.
Friend of the bride. So Moses,
or friend of the groom. Friend of the groom. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one organizing everything, and he's going back and forth telling, here's the ketuvah. So yeah, here's your ketuvah, and we're going to let's go through what's going to be in this. Now, I know that Tiffany, they have their family, like a family creed, a family mission statement up on their up in their homes. It's kind of like, we don't really do marriage contracts, right? We just sign a thing. I don't even remember reading what I signed when I got married. Does anyone else know? Did you have, what does it even say? By the state of Arizona, and then your witnesses, 2 witnesses. And all of this is coming from this right now. All of this is coming from this ancient Near East perspective. This is not like, America, we didn't come up with this new thing. We've just now, hyphenated it. I mean, it's so short, right? But it's all a hyperlink to right here. And I want we're going to keep hyperlinking to this marriage contract. And if you keep seeing this through the vision, through the eyes of a groom now saying, okay, I've promised that I was going to take a bride, and I promised that I was going to prepare a place flowing with milk and honey. I was going to prepare a beautiful place for them. So they have a home, they have things. I'm going to promise to do these things for them. Now I'm ready to take my bride.
Yeah.
So now he's telling Moses, I will bring you out of Mitzrayim. I will see and I will hear you. I see what you're doing is backbreaking. I see what's happening. That I'm going to bring you out of Mitzrayim. They were breaking their backs building bricks. And I wrote down, was this a way for God to bring their pride down? Because had they continued on, we've talked about this, I think last week, they wouldn't have left. It had to get ugly or they would have stayed there because it was too comfortable. You guys, what's going on in your life right now? What's going along in our country right now? We were getting too comfortable. He has to shake things up so we don't get comfortable. And it might look like brick making. It might look like a boil. It might look like a fever and you can't taste anything. I don't know what it's going to look like, but he's saying, I need to do some things so that I break your pride. You're too dependent on your systems. So I'm going to switch things around. It may not be that, but Matthew 11, this is where, when Jesus is saying, come, all ye that are weary and heavy laden. This is what he's talking about. He's referring back to this. And when he said that, they were all like, they would have all known exactly what he was talking about. Everybody, that was a hyperlink to right now. When he says that in Matthew 11, it was a hyperlink to Mitzrayim. You're heavy and you're heavy laden. I'm going to read it. Matthew 11, 28 through 30.
Read it. I love that.
He says, I'm just going to start at 27. All things have been handed over to me by my Father, and no one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. And take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I'm gentle and humble in heart, not a hardened heart. I'm a humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. They would have been hyperlinked back to this moment.
Yeah. And yoke is the equivalent of Torah, and burden is the equivalent of commandments. So my Torah is easy and my commandments are light. Yeah, because it's a love story, guys. It's a love story. He's showing us who he is, and he's showing us what links he'll go to draw us in. Yeah.
I'm hearing that song. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. That's who I am. It's who I am. Just remember that. Remember that as we go through this whole book, that he's telling you he's a good, good father. He's coming in as a father, as the groom, and he's wooing and courting them. And he tells them that he's going to bring them out. He's going to bring them out. He's telling you today, I'm going to bring you out. And then he says, I'm going to deliver you from bondage. You know, bondage and burden, there's a difference. You know, the burden, it says, I'm going to bring you out. That was the burden. That was the heaviness. That's the heaviness of where they were living. That's the heaviness of inherited things. Some of you have some yokes that you've inherited, some things that have come with you generationally, curses, things that have been passed down. So maybe you've inherited a lot of lies that you didn't understand, and it's okay. You're right where you're supposed to be. Because he wants to show up in that, and he's going to deliver you that. But now he's saying, I'm going to deliver you from bondage. Well, what's the difference between burden and bondage? Bondage, you know, when you're in bondage to something, there's some of us are, I have been for very many years in bondage to food. Now, what a crazy bondage, because it's something I have to do every day to keep alive. But what happens, and many of you are the same way, it's not just being bondage to the food, it's being bondage to the mindset that I'm using that to fill a hole that's inside of me. I'm anxious, I should eat. I'm sad, I should eat. I'm stressed, I should eat. Because instead of saying I'm stressed, I should pray. I'm anxious, I should pray. I'm going to some of the, something of, you know, some of you are in bondage to smoking. No judgment. I'm an eater. Hi, my name's Charlie. You know, I'm an eater. So some of you have smoking issues. Maybe there's other things you've been in bondage to. Maybe you're in bondage to drugs. Maybe you're in bondage to pain medicine. What are you in bondage to? I don't know. What are some things that you'd like to be freed from? Can you put them in there? Let's help all pray for each other. There's no judgment here. There's no shame. It's a no shame zone. I'm in bondage to this. I want deliverance this year of this. I'm declaring that I'm going to be delivered of this because he says, I'm going to deliver you from bondage. Addictions, the things he can't, because in John 8:34-36, I have to read this. Gosh, I'm going to crazy today. So let's get in the good news.
Seriously.
Oh, wait, I'm going the wrong way. I need to like look at my glossary anymore to find things. It's so funny. Where's that at? John is after what? Okay, John 8:34-36. All these verses y'all probably have memorized, but I want you to see them from this perspective. Yeshua answered them and said, amen, amen, I tell you. And everyone who sins is a slave to sin. Now, let's read it this way. Everyone who misses the mark is a slave to missing the mark, right? Now, the slave does not remain in the household forever because the Son abides forever. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. Well, what does that even mean? I want you to look on that. Again, it's hyperlinking. He set them free. And when they were free, they were free. They didn't have they were secretly still Egyptian property. They were free indeed. They may have been living in the house, but the Son set them free. They were set free.
And not just them, but their seed.
Yes.
You guys, us. Guess what? He set them free then, but it was the seed. Think about that. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So awesome.
Let's go. There's so much more to go. There's so much more.
Come on. Quick. Redemption. So he says, I'm going to redeem you. It doesn't all mean the same. These all mean little things. So spend some time this Shabbat with what does it mean for him to take us out, to deliver us. So he's going to take you out, which this is when he says that I will bring you out. Well, I'll keep going. Redeemed is like your kinsman redeemer. I'm going to pay a ransom for you. I'm going to do what it needs to take. I'm going to pay the ransom. And we're told you were bought with a price. You were bought with a price. You have been redeemed. Psalms 107 says, let the redeemed of the Lord say so. So everyone, woo, I say so. I have been redeemed. I've been redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Okay, sorry. That was a little kid. Back to Sunday school. Okay. Then the next thing he says, I'm going to take you as I will take the people and be their God. This is like the last, isn't it fun? Do you know at the end in a marriage ceremony, we still do it. Do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? Do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband? This is where this is hyperlinking. He's saying the same thing right now. He's saying, I will take her. I will take them. He's looking at you right now. He's taking them while they're in bondage, while they're needing to be delivered, while they're in the middle of looking like Egyptians and have not been cleaned up yet, while they don't know who they are and lost their identity. He did not wait to say these until they got out and they went through Sinai and they went through the 10 words and then they're about to cross over and everybody that was crazy got killed or didn't get to come. None of that was the case, right? He's telling us right now, I will take you. I want that to wash over you. He's saying to you, I'm not needing you to clean up and I can't have you. So whatever thing you've inherited that said you had to be perfect, that you had to be all cleaned up before he would take you. Well, as soon as I do this, then he'll love me. As soon as I do this, he's saying, I'm going to do all this right now. I'll take you. So let the courting begin, Brenda. Here we go.
I'm so reminded of the scripture that says in Song of Solomon, and it says, he brought me to the banqueting house and his banner over me was love. Sustain me with cakes of raisins, refresh me with apples, for I am lovesick. And then it goes on, do not stir nor awaken love until it pleases. He is fanning the flames to awaken our love. And he's willing to take the time until our love awakens. And when our love awakens and we look upon him, this is what he's doing. He's calling unto us to awaken my love, come away with me. He's going to do this, guys. He is doing this. He has done this. Remember that when we celebrate Passover, I don't know if you already said this, but when we celebrate Passover, there's I can't even think of the phrase, guys. You guys all know this better than me, but there's a phrase in Hebrew, and it says to generation by generation, look at this as if it was you, not a generation before, but you are being redeemed. You are being taken. You are being brought forth. This has got to happen to us individually. He's calling for us to be awakened. He's fanning the flame so that our love will arise, and we'll begin looking at him and say, yes, I will come away with you. This truly is a love story. I know I keep saying that, but this truly is a love story. And if we have a change of perspective, then we'll know, because he just finished telling us who he was. Then he repeats it. And now he is in the process of taking us to a place that he is going to teach us who we are. And this is when the love is arising within us, so that we can say, yes, I will.
Where were you reading from right now?
I'm sorry. It's Song of Solomon, chapter 2. Right around verses 4 through 7. There's so much more. I mean, there's so much more. I am my beloved's and he is mine. I mean, he's he's saying all of this to us. Exactly. Hyper. If you clicked on that, guess where
it's going to take you? It's going to take you back to Exodus, and he's going to say, this is when I told you this before.
And again, as Charlie was saying in the book of John, and as I was saying also in the book of John, chapter 10, it's hyperlinked there too. I love that phrase. Now that's going to be stuck in my head. Because Yeshua said, I am the door. I am the door. I am the shepherd. I am the one who's teaching you to hear my voice. And my sheep are going to hear my voice. And it's not just my sheep, it's going to be all the others too. Don't you love that?
Yeah.
Because it's a mixed multitude.
Yeah.
So, and he's saying, you're going to learn my voice. And that's what the Holy One is saying here in Exodus. I want you to hear my voice. This is what I'm saying. I am Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. I am the Lord your God. I am going to take you. I'm going to bring you. I'm going to redeem you. I've got them out of order. These are the things that I'm going to do. I'm going to keep appearing to you, not just once, but I'm going to appear and appear and appear and appear. I'm going to speak to you. I'm going to draw you in because I love you, and I want your love to be that flame to be fanned so that you respond to me in love. And that's how we model to the world. That's how we get through these dark times, is by hearing his voice and allowing that setting things aside so that we can hear his voice and we respond to his words. And when we respond to his words, he continues to fan our flame, so that we're passionate for him. Because he's passionate for us. I mean, If you read this, he is stinking passionate. I mean, 10 huge strategic strikes, world-changing strategic strikes to show us how far he will go to redeem us, to love us, to draw us, to call us, to make us a people, to draw us out of where we are. We don't even know we want to go yet.
Right.
We kind of think we do. We're irritated. We're complaining.
Right.
But do we really?
Right. Well, and we talked about this. Is they were in the middle when I was praying. I just saw the picture and I was praying about this when I prayed today. But here is Egypt, and then you have Goshen over here. Even though they look like Egyptians, they were involved in Egyptians. Even they're having to be shipped into to work the pyramids and come into Egypt to work. They were still outside of it, but they were still in it, right? They were in the world, but not of the world. They were in Egypt, but not necessarily. They were like right outside of it, but they were actually of it. They were the opposite. They were actually not in it, but they were of it. That's what I want to say. So here's this, things are so happening and they needed something that differentiated them. And so this is the bigger than just, this is him saying, you can't have, this is not who you are. You're not someone who serves the Nile River. This is not who you are. So that I can remind you that this is not who you are and that I am bigger than that, God. You need to get rid of that boyfriend. I'm not going to let you have this boyfriend. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to flex my muscles. I'm going to do my skateboard trick. I'm going to get rid. You are not going to have this God. So he turns the water to blood.
Yeah. And he keeps proving himself over and over, not because he needs to prove himself, but because we need to see him that way. We need to change your vision. That's why this Torah portion starts off with, and he appeared. That's all about the eyes. That's all about how we perceive. It's not just with our peepers, but it's with how we perceive who he is. He is appearing to us so that we change our perception of who he is. Isn't that so? Gosh, that's a love story.
Yeah.
That's a love
story.
Let
me show you. Right. So we have, and the word, I'll take a picture of this. It's actually in First Fruits of Zion, their Torah Club. If you have Torah Club 1, it's on page 240, but they list out the 10 plagues. And I love that they have it in English and then they have it written in Hebrew using phonetically written it out. And then they have the Hebrew letters. So I really love that. So we start out with blood, and I'm not going to fully put you on the spot, Brenda, but even though this is passionate for you, but they have, the first thing we start out is an issue that he's going to annihilate this God of the Nile. He's going to deal with the water any way that they are finding that their provision for water. Water is your number one provision. You can't live without it. You can live without food. You can live without a lot of things for a while. But you can't live without water. What, for more than 3 days? Is that the thing? I mean, I should know this. I think it's 3 days. But I've slept since I read that. So the word for blood is dam, phonetically D-A-M, dalet, mem. Dalet, mem. So those of you who are digging into some aleph bets, I want you to, what is that? What's the Hebrew? What's the hieroglyphics?
Ooh.
Dalet.
Dalet. Well, we just read it. We just read Dalet in John chapter 10. The door, the portal, the place that the place that allows you to walk from one realm to another. It's moving you from where you are to where you're going, the doorway. And Yeshua said, I am the door. And he said it again in John 10. He said, I'm the door. And my sheep hear my voice. And when I'm calling to them, they're going to come follow me. And so Dalet is the door. It's the portal. It's that thing that separates the here from the there. Yeah. It's that escape, that movement into. And Mem Sofit, guys, come on. Mem Sofit is water, which represents movement, washing, cleansing, picking you up and taking you where you need to go. But the Mem Sofit, because it's a Sofit, it's the last letter. When it's the last letter of a word, it's called, that Mem is called a Sofit. It's talking about eternal water. It's taking you to the river of life. It's taking you to the tree of life through the process of washing you. It is cleansing you. It's that perfection, that ultimate water, which is the water of life.
So I'm like on fire right now. I'm just going to tell you, all I'm seeing right now is we start the first one with this dam, with a dalet, the Mem Sofit, and guess what we end with? We end with putting the blood on the doorposts. It's a circle. He's saying, I'm going to finalize this because what has happened is you, as a people, you have relied on something else to be your provision to eternity, to be your provision for your doorway, to get into access, to bringing revelation, to bring movement. And that you're going through some gods, and I have to start by letting you know this is not the thing. And so when Jesus says, I am the way, and I am the truth, and I am the life, that nobody comes to my Father. No one comes except through us. You have to come through this door. You can't come
Right.
through the door of these other gods. You can't come
Right.
through a door because you did a bunch of good works. You can't come through a door because you met all these commandments. You can't come through that door. So I'm going to show you, that was a hyperlink to Dom. You can't come, you can only come through him. Otherwise, he's going to smash it. Why did that get taken away? Because it was Dom. He won't let you have it because he loves you too much. And so what happens is you look at people around you, maybe they're serving those things, and you're saying, wow, they're looking at other ways. And when you see things start happening around you, don't be surprised, because what he did is he's saying, this is a sign. Is it a plague? It's a sign. This is a covenantal sign. This is how I'm going to show you in this contract that we're putting together now I'm going to be your husband, but I'm going to tell you, you can't be looking at other things to be the doorway to your salvation. You can't look at other
Right.
things to be the doorway to access to me.
Right.
You can't come to me through little idols that you're going to bring along the way. You can't come to me that way. So we have to cut that. And the way we're going to cut it is with blood. I'm going to wash it with blood. Man. And then I'm going to seal it with blood when we're done with this.
Yeah. That letter, Dalet, okay, I'll get a little bit geeky on you, just a tiny, tiny bit. That letter Dalet, it is across and down, right? It's just across and down like the door lintel, like half of a door lintel, right? And in Revelation, Yeshua says, behold, I stand at the door. So look at that Dalet, right? Well, there you go. Thank you. Thank you. I should have my share screen on here, but when he says I, that's Yah, represented by the Yod. So when you look at the Yod and you put that next to the Dalet, that is Yeshua standing, Yah, standing at the door, boom, and that brings you to the letter Hey. That's the letter Hey. It's the Dalet and the Yod next to it. And Yeshua is saying, behold, I stand at the door and knock. And he's saying that only through him do we have the Hey, which is the revelation, the blowing of the Spirit of God into you, blowing fresh air, fresh wind, fresh spirit upon you so that you are with him, in unity with him. He is standing at the door. He is the door, but he's standing at the door. So he's showing us this revelation, which Hey is revelation. He's showing us this revelation of who he is. And with the word Dom, it's the same thing. He's showing us that it's through that walking into, he's calling out. And if we walk into that, the water will pick us up, and that water will be the water of life, the precious river of life that is going to sustain us and wash us and cleanse us and prepare us. It's so beautiful. Sorry. Okay, go. Oops, you're muted, Sissy. You're muted.
Oh, I'm freaking out right now because we started out by, this portion starts out by saying they couldn't hear him because of their bondage. They couldn't hear him because of their suffering. Yeah. So what happens is he stands at the door. He starts with going, okay, well, I'm going to show you then. We're going to start with being at the door. And I'm going to show you another way because we're going to get rid of this. So this is what we're going to go through. We have this visualization of this. It's water turning to blood. There's certain times a year that happens to the Nile. So but what he was more saying is this I need to start by telling you, this is who I am. This is who I am. Right? And then he jumps to frogs. So I'm going to go to frogs. There's an Egyptian goddess named Hekt. I think it's Heqt. And it's heard that her head was a frog.
Oh, lovely.
I heard that. So I'm going to show this picture to you, y'all. This is, and we're going. So do you see the word for frogs? Say it out loud. Yes. And then there's the letters.
Okay. Okay, let me look it up real quick so I can see that. What is that? Where's that? Okay, I'll find it.
That's it. That's
Frogs.
the letter. So anybody else looking for the letters? But so we're going to the next thing where you have these frogs start coming up everywhere. So it's him saying, this is not, I have control over all of this. There's no God that controls frogs. We can go from the very basic simplistic thing of that, or we can go from the basic parts of this, or we can go to the to deeper. And what I love is you get to pick. Like I just want to say, oh, God is the God of all frogs. He can call frogs to come out. He can cause this to happen. And how annoying would that be? We can go there. We can keep it super Fisher Price and let's just stay in that. And that's still amazing. But I wanted to show you, just starting out with the first one, how holy moly, it's bigger than just the water turning red and no one being able to drink the water. Yep, that's what I got. So frogs.
I heard that the frogs are also considered swamp creatures.
Swamp creatures. Yes. Yeah, I think that it's all, again, we're talking translations stuff. I don't know what anything. We have frogs, gnats. I'll go through them quick.
So cool. I love
gnats. The soil was so fertile, and they believe that the gods blessed the soil. They believe that their gods kept the soil blessed, and that's why the land was fertile. So what did he do? He says, they don't do that, I do. So at any minute I want to disrupt your security blanket, that any minute I want to disrupt your provision to show you that I'm your provider, because remember, Goshen was also they came there for the provision. They came there because their land provided wheat when there was a famine. So they came there and had relied then and become crippled by the fact that they thought Egypt, Mitzrayim, was their provision.
Ouch, that hits home. Ouch.
It hits home for me. And I'll be fully transparent. Part of our income comes from our government because my husband is a disabled veteran. So part of our income is reliant on our government not being crazy. And so there is a temptation to have maybe a fear that might be messed with. That says, I was quick and super fast on that one, is so you think they're the ones providing that for you, and you don't think I used that as a way and then I couldn't find another way to do that? So he's doing that with them here with the gnats coming up. That fertile soil was blessed, they thought, by these gods, and they had bought into this, that's why they were productive. That's why they had saved them. I'm sure that that had started to get into their spirits, that now they were saved by that. But then what happens is the ground starts shaking. Can you imagine? The ground starts to shake. The dust starts shaking. And out of this fertile, blessed land, gnats, bugs start coming up out of it. Now, I don't know about you. During the summer when the fruit gnats come around, annoying. Imagine those everywhere. Yeah, past irritated. I'm looking for stuff. Anyone, anything else? Okay, jump in, anyone. Anything on that one, Brenda? On gnats for you or frogs?
Irritations.
Irritation.
Yeah. Those little subtle things that are so small, but they really irritate us. I didn't think that I was angry at all, or that I had an issue with anger at all, but I realized that I get irritated easily. And so guess what irritation is? It's a form of anger. And so these little face flies and the gnats, the things that swarm around and kind of just irritate you. Yeah, I'm having to deal with that. Yeah. And so he's catching us on all. This is a process that is going to continue for quite some time. This isn't like it's going to be fixed right this second. It is a continual process for all generations. And every generation, we're going to be going through all of these things. And so those things that you find that are irritating you, you might get comfortable being irritated. Let's think about that. Are we making friends with irritation? Well, I'm just irritated. I'm not angry. I'm just irritated.
Yeah, this just annoys me.
Just really annoys me. And I'm
especially like around the first new moon. Oh wait. Then we
Yeah.
almost wear it like a badge. Well, I'm just PMSing, so like it's an
Yeah.
excuse. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
moving
And,
on, right?
and right, exactly. Let's move along. But I'm just saying that there are things. So let's go to the next one, the swarms.
Swarms. The Arov, AROV, Arova. So yeah, woo. Uh, we have insects, Bren, but everything I
Mhm.
read says wild beasts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. No, it was irritating and it was destructive and it was destroying and beating down anything that was rising itself and exalting itself and love
Right.
above the name of the
Right.
Holy One.
And the word is swarms. So think of things coming in packs, swarming in packs.
It's not just like
Yeah.
a cow walking in your house, like, yo, what's up? It's like
A herd.
a herd of wildebeest like running through your house and through the streets. It's like the bull chasers, in Spain when you do running with the bulls. It would have been, there's your visual, the running with the bull.
I love that. That's a good
That's what would
visual,
happen.
Charlie.
It would have been like that. Even if it was just insects, you'd have been running with the mosquitoes. I mean, it would have been running and there'd be ginormous amounts of them. But again, if we can get your mind changing your mindset so that you can see this, that it is not him, he's saying, look at me. He's part of it is he's showing who he is because they had forgotten, and he's making them fall in love with him because none of these things are happening to them, right? It's like he's beating up the big bully for the little guy, and he's having to do it over a process because he could have come in and went, Egypt, meet, done. Okay,
Right.
guys, you can go. But
Right.
instead, that would not have wooed their hearts, and it wouldn't have wooed the mixed multitudes' hearts that came along with them.
Right.
Because it wasn't just about them. It was the mixed multitudes. It was about us that were wooed by it, that were like, oh, and he's picking me too. He's going to do this for me too.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And this is him awakening. And if Linda Millett and I were talking about this this morning, actually, it's like, why are people being so irritated? Because he's awakening them, because they're recognizing things, they're seeing things. Now they may choose to live in that irritation and move into that direction, but he's going to continue revisiting. We know in scripture that he says he's going to visit the generations, generation after generation after generation after generation. He's going to come in, he's going to address the issues that weren't taken care of the generation before, visiting the sins of the fathers upon the sons, of course. Come into that generation, and he's going to speak life to them, and he's going to give them the opportunity for change, for rebirth, for transition, for redemption again and again and again and again. And that's what's happening here. He's speaking to all of these generations, not only the physical people that are there, but their seed. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So we have to say, Father, how do we get in alignment with this? I mean, how do we get in alignment with this? Well, most of us, it's going to be on our face.
Yes.
We're
Tiffany
put over face.
Tiffany, I know this was, I think, just into me, but she said there must be significance that the swarms did not enter Goshen. Yeah. I mean, literally herds and swarms of things. Like, can you just, I mean, just take your drone and go, above everything, and then watching. Can you just imagine it going, like, I mean, huge from the natural, but let's meditate on that. Like, what, spend some time in that, the next 2 days. What was that about, Father?
Right.
We
got to remember that this is not just, like Charlie said, this is not just about the bloodline Israelites. It is about the bloodline Israelites. It is, but it's also about the mixed multitude that he is bringing out of Egypt. And most of us, not all of us, but most of us are a mixed multitude. And so we have places of Egypt that, may still reside within us. And all of this is affecting us. It is affecting us because we were we were the mixed multitude.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're, anyway.
I read that I
Enough, I
read
don't
that
need to say anymore.
as we start talking about, we start bringing commandments in. I read that, as we're going to keep going into that later. I read that what's really beautiful is it takes the unity of the people to fulfill the commandments, because they're set for, it depended on your station in life. You're a woman, you're a man, you're married, you're a rabbi, you're a whatever, all the different commandments. If you read, one person cannot fulfill that. So when someone's like, well, you can't do all, no, you're right, I can't. I can only do some of the ones that are effective to me. But what happens is when everyone walks in line and not like an Egyptian, then we become a people. Then we talk about this. There's unity that happens then, because we're all walking in those together. The last that are on here are, we have pestilence. I put cows and bulls were idolized. And it's interesting that the first thing they went right back to was a golden calf, right? Boils, hail. I'll take a picture of these so that you have the Hebrew letters. I wrote it all out for myself in my poor attempts to then go back, and I want to just take each letter for each word, and I want to see the picture like when we did with Dam, with blood. I want to see what that sign, those are the signs, the 10 signs. I want to go through each one of those myself, and just so that I see the word picture for that. What's the hieroglyphic for that sign? Because it doesn't necessarily, like we saw, he was saying you can't have a door. You can't walk through a door. You can't have the door, the water. It was a doorway. The Nile was a doorway of trade. It was it was so significant. They worshiped it because in the middle of the desert, you have this huge river, that it was something that they worshiped. And you can't worship anything else. And that's what he even starts with when he starts speaking the words over them. The first sign is saying, you can't have a doorway with anyone but me. Yeshua reinforced it. We have the hyperlink. He starts when we hear the words. When he's on Sinai, he says, you can't have any other gods, just me. That's not who you are. You're a people that has only one God, just me, that I'm your God. And we're going to hear that hyperlinked back and forth and back and forth. And I know one of the things, I'm going to read Ephesians 4:17 through 19. So then I say, and affirm together with the Lord, that you walk no longer just as the Gentiles, I was going to say Egyptians, just as the Gentiles also walk in the futility of their mind, being darkened in their understanding, excluded from the life of God because of the ignorance that's in them, because of the hardness of their heart. Whoop, there you hear that again. And they, having become callous, have given themselves over to sensuality for the practice of every kind of impurity with greediness. We see Pharaoh, and we see that the Holy One released him and said he gave him over to his heart, his calloused heart. He allowed him, right, Brenda, to walk in that.
He honored what he had chosen. He honored that. He didn't forcefully change his mind.
Do you see all around us, people are walking like an Egyptian, and what's happened is he's honoring their choices, and what's happening is that we're seeing him practice every kind of impurity. Greediness is running rampant. Sensuality is running rampant. It's just crazy. I was talking to someone yesterday. We were talking about putting things on YouTube and how it was scary because when, to be honest, it was with Halisa Alwine. We were talking yesterday, and we were talking about how we were going to transition things in our portals. Like, how do we get things from YouTube or in Facebook or in other things and maybe put them over to YouTube? And we were saying how with YouTube, you can't control what advertisements pop up on YouTube. Have you been watching something on YouTube and you're like, oh, geez, I can't unsee that. That just happened. There's just things. And some of it we've gotten so desensitized to that it doesn't even bother us. We're watching something and we're like, what? And our kids are running around watching it with us, and we haven't even been sensitized it because we've hardened our heart. What's happened is we've gotten hardened to it. We've calloused to it, and he's allowed it. But if all we have to do is bend our knee and say, Father, soften my heart, and instantly, all of a sudden, get ready, because all of a sudden, guess what happened? Dom's going to happen. He's going to start showing you what doors you've been walking through and what things you've been allowing in your life. But we were talking about that and how, she had a video of hers that she was watching it, and up comes this manscaping commercial. And it was just something even your children couldn't be around because it was so implicit that even children would have understood what this lady was talking about how she likes her manscaping thing for her man. And that's the Egypt we live in. When you're driving down the highway, even the billboards, I mean, that's been going on for a while. And in TV, the minute that they were allowed to say this is TV MA or this is TV whatever, they can put whatever they want on TV now. I am preaching to myself right now, all y'all. Just know, God help me, I have a standing desk. It's like a pulpit.
I love it.
It's like I got a pulpit now, guys. Watch out.
Oh, yikes.
But I just want you to hear that he's just saying that we don't have to walk in that. We don't have to be like the people of Ephesians 4 right there. What we get to do is remember who we are in him. And all we have to do is cry out. And the thing we get to do for others is say, Father, remind them of who they are. Remember, Paul did that they would have a full revelation knowledge of who they are in Yeshua. Full revelation knowledge, who they are in Messiah.
Yeah.
Do you know? Do you know who you are in him? Or is he wooing you right now with signs and wonders? Signs not so nice right now. Is he wooing?
And his wooing, what's so precious is that he woos us until our love is awakened. It says in Song of Solomon, don't wake my beloved until her love is ready. Until the love is ready, don't awaken. Or actually, she's saying it. Don't awaken my love until he's ready. We're not supposed to. We're being wooed, and we'll move forward when we're ready. It's our story. What story is being written today in the book of life for you? How are you participating in this story? Are you fighting it? Are you submitting to his hand? Are you saying, Father, here I am?
Hinani.
Yeah, here I am. Because this is your story. This is your story, how you're responding and reacting to what's happening all around us. We're living this Torah portion right now. We are literally living this Torah portion right now. How are we responding? And it's an individual thing. But remember that, like what Charlie was mentioning before, and thank you so much for just keep reiterating that, Charlie. It's so valuable, so important. This is not a solo effort. Yes, we are responsible in ourselves to look at how we're walking out our story. But on the other hand, our story is not complete unless we are linking with one another. We have to be a collective. This is not about this is about nations. This is not about one country. This is not about one city. This is not about one government. This is about the nations, all of the nations. Remember, the people that were being called out were all the nations of the world. That's who the core people were that were there, all representing all the nations of the world. We have to do this together. That's why the mixed multitudes were going, I'm going with you guys. I don't know your God, but this is powerful stuff, and I'm going with you. Wherever he goes, I'm going. Wherever you go, I'm going. And that's what they did. So
do you see the hyperlink where he will, in the last days, will be grabbing the tallits and say, take me with you?
Take me with you. Yeah, that's right.
That's what's happening now. We're all grabbing onto the hems. We're all grabbing onto things and saying, take us with you. Take us with you.
Yeah. So it's individually, what's your story today, but it's also collectively, how are you going to walk your story out so that you're linking arms with others around you?
Yeah.
Because it's not just about you.
No, and see this as a wooing right now. Instead of being full of fear, you live in Goshen. You don't need to live in fear. He didn't give you a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. You live in Goshen. Get your drone up in the air and turn your eyes towards the things of heaven and stop looking at the things on earth. Get your drone up higher so you can see how these things are actually missing you and how the things are actually being protected. And there's a wall of fire about you, and he's right there in the midst of you. Get ready, get prepared, get ask him, be humbled so that you can hear him. Humble your hearts, humble your minds, so you can hear him when he's calling, so that you can hear him when he's giving instructions.
Yes.
Ask him, Father, I lay down, I'm throwing all my gods before you. I'm throwing everything. I cast it all down before you. Show me what doors am I using to get to provision or salvation, or what am I walking through to bring revelation into my life that's not you? Show me the things. And that's just one sign we went through, right? Lord, can you
exactly.
imagine? We gotta write we could spend all year just on the 10 signs, I think, going through each one of them.
So easily.
Yeah. Well, Father, yeah. Brenda, would you close us out in prayer?
Yeah.
Bless these beautiful letters.
Yes. Yes. Holy One, we adore you. We adore you. We glorify you. We recognize your goodness, your mercy, your chesed, your chen. We recognize who you are. We recognize that, Father. Thank you for drawing us unto yourself. Thank you for showing us your greatness and your mightiness, so that our eyes will look upon you. Thank you for causing our vision to see you as you appear to us. Thank you for visiting us generation after generation after. Thank you for not leaving us in the desert. Thank you for calling us out and showing us your majesty and your might, so that we can say, I don't understand, but I'm following you. I want to look at you. I want to be with you. My heart is pounding for you. Father, we glorify you right now. Thank you for touching the heart of every single one who's listening right now. Thank you for stirring the flame of fire and passion for your holiness in each and every heart today, Father. Thank you for taking us up to and out of the land of oppression and into the land of freedom. And we know that it's a journey, and we say yes. We are willing and able to walk with you. If you hold us, we can go anywhere. If you cover us, we will go. Where your shadow falls, we will walk. You're covering us in the daytime. You are covering us in the nighttime with your fire and with your covering, and we will walk with you. And Father, thank you for rising within us the yearning to grab hold of and bring along all those that are near us. Thank you. Abba, we thank you. Thank you for not giving up on us.
Yes.
Thank you for going to this extreme to say how much you love us.
Yes.
Hear our hearts today, Father, that we would never be a day without passionate love for you. Thank you for that love that you have instilled within us. And I thank you for fanning the flame of every heart that hears your word. Every heart, oh God, may our eyes be directed to you. I pray blessings, blessings, blessings upon your people. And we call out, thank you for your Shabbat. We want to enter into your presence tonight. We want to enter in and have intimacy with you tonight. May our hearts be flamed. Amen.
Thank you, Father. Whew, that was good. I had a picture while you were praying, Brenda, of Ruth. And it took the death of their husbands, the death of the firstborn. It took the death of that, and then there was a division. Do you go or you go? And she says, one left and one stayed. One said, where you go, I'll go. I want your people to be my people and your God to be my God. She was the representative of the mixed multitudes. It was a story retold. And then she leaves, and she leaves with Miriam. She leaves with and she goes with her mother-in-law, and she leaves with Naomi. I'm like, I was thinking Mara. Wow,
that's all right. Anyway, you got it.
She leaves with her mother-in-law, and then what happens? Then we give another story of marriage with Boaz, of how he takes her in. Again, we're going to see that this is the same story. It's a tale as old as time. And we're going to see it again, and we're going to bring the birth of Messiah through her.
Yes.
And I want you to be inspired. Oh, I'm just excited. So I'm going to let you guys go. For those of you, we're going to stop recording in this sec here, stop live streaming, hanging out in the after party. You can still join us if you're in Facebook, or if you're, want to come over and join us. We'll be hanging out for a while, chatting together and having a little fellowship. Wish we had food to share because I'm hungry. But
Everybody get some food.
yeah. But if you guys love this and like the portions like it, and this is like you're so fed, and this is like great, like this is what you need, and you have a great fellowship, and this is all you need. Great, hang up, go, bye. So you don't have to listen anymore. But for the rest of you who are like, I love this, and but I need more because I don't really have another community, and I don't have teaching. It's so like, what do I Google? And it's so overwhelming to me. I just want to invite you guys to come join us over in the cafe. And yeah, this is a little commercial. I want you guys to come over because I know that at the end of this month that the price for that goes up. It's $24.95 now a month. Come try us for a month and see what you think, because I'm going to tell you, you're going to so fall in love with this community and these women. Not just the teaching, there's teachings, there's things, those can be overwhelming. But we have guides, we have women who will partner with you to walk you through things. You are not alone in there. With 800, 900 women in here, it's really hard for us to do that. But over in there, we have calls every week, every month, just like this. Specific, we're going to be having calls that are more foundational for basics, where you can ask questions. We're going to have calls for parenting calls. If everybody loved, I mean, we have some amazing like licensed therapists and social workers who are coming in, who are Torah pursuant women, who can come in and give you the most amazing tips on that stuff about marriage. We're going to do a girl talk where we talk about girl stuff. Like, how do I deal with some girl stuff? Like, how do I deal with stuff in my marriage that I don't know who to ask these questions to that might be kind of intimate or personal? We're going to have some of those. They're recorded. You can watch them. We'll be able to listen live or later. If you're interested in that, you guys get a hold of us or go to therootedcafe.com with a K, and you can see there's like a join button or whatever. You can get in that way, and we'll hook in with you. Sydney, myself, Brenda, all of our team. We're going to jump in and love all over you and pull you in. But again, if you haven't already hung up, if the portion is it, we love you, is our blessing to be here every Friday and serve you. But if you want to hang out with us and be part of a tighter community where we get to spend more time with you, I want to encourage you to come hang out with us, especially now, before get locked in at that, because you won't have to have it's, I think it's going to 39 the beginning of February. So you want to jump in and get it and get locked in. So blessings to all of you. You guys come over to the after party and sign up for the women's conference. Make sure you reserve your seat. Mwah.